A woman named Sarah booked an Airbnb for a weekend getaway. The place looked perfect in the pictures, a cozy cabin in a secluded area with great reviews. When she arrived, everything seemed fine at first. The cabin was exactly as described, and the host had left a welcoming note and some snacks. On the first night, Sarah heard strange noises coming from the attic. They were faint, but enough to keep her awake. She brushed it off as the house settling or animals. The next day, she explored the area and came back late. Exhausted, she went to bed immediately. In the middle of the night, she woke up to the feeling of being watched. She looked around but saw nothing. The noise from the attic started again, louder this time. She decided to check it out, grabbing a flashlight and cautiously climbing the ladder to the attic. As she pushed open the attic door, a cold draft hit her. The attic was mostly empty except for some old furniture and boxes. She scanned the room with her flashlight and saw nothing unusual, but the feeling of being watched persisted. Just as she was about to leave, she noticed a small, concealed door in the corner of the attic. Sarah's curiosity got the better of her. She approached the door, which was partially open, and peered inside. The room was dark, and the flashlight's beam revealed something horrifying: a small bed, some personal items, and photos of previous guests, including herself. Some of the photos were taken from angles that suggested they were taken secretly while she was sleeping or unaware. Panicked, Sarah rushed back downstairs, grabbed her belongings and left the cabin immediately. She called the police and reported what she had found. When the authorities investigated, they discovered that the host had been secretly living in the attic, spying on guests through hidden cameras. The host was arrested and Sarah never used Airbnb again.
Late one night, in a small isolated village, a young woman named Clara was driving home after visiting friends. The winding road through the dense forest was eerily silent, with only the occasional hoot of an owl breaking the stillness. As she rounded a sharp bend, she noticed a figure standing at the edge of the road. Slowing down, Clara saw it was a woman, dressed in a long, tattered white gown, her hair disheveled and hanging over her face. She seemed to be in distress, so Clara stopped and rolled down her window.
"Do you need help?"
Clara asked, her voice trembling slightly. The woman slowly lifted her head, revealing hollow, dark eyes and a face pale as death.
"I need to go home,"
she whispered, her voice a chilling echo in the night. Against her better judgment, Clara agreed to give her a ride. The woman got into the back seat, her cold presence sending shivers down Clara's spine. They drove in silence, the forest growing darker and more oppressive with each passing minute. After what felt like an eternity, the woman finally spoke. "Turn left here," she said. Clara obeyed, driving down a narrow, overgrown path that seemed to lead deeper into the heart of the forest. Eventually, they reached a clearing with an old, decrepit house standing alone in the moonlight. The woman got out of the car and turned to Clara. "Thank you," she said, her voice now filled with a strange, sorrowful tone. "Please take this." She handed Clara a small, worn locket before disappearing into the darkness. Feeling unnerved, Clara drove home as quickly as possible. When she arrived, she examined the locket more closely. Inside, she found a faded photograph of the woman and a little girl. On the back, a date was inscribed: June 5, 1924. Disturbed by the discovery, Clara decided to investigate. She learned that the woman in the photo had lived in the village a century ago and had vanished under mysterious circumstances along with her daughter. Their bodies were never found, and it was said their spirits haunted the forest searching for a way home. Clara's blood ran cold as she realized she had encountered a ghost. That night she heard whispers and soft cries echoing through her house. When she looked out the window, she saw the woman standing in her yard, eyes pleading for help. From that night on, Clara was never seen again. Some say she too became lost in the forest, forever searching for a way out, just like the woman in the white gown. And on dark, moonlit nights, travelers on that lonely road sometimes glimpse a spectral figure standing by the roadside, waiting for a kind soul to help her find her way home.
One of the eeriest true stories from the Appalachian Mountains is the tale of the Greenbrier Ghost. which dates back to the late 19th century in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. In January 1897, Zona Heaster Shue, a young woman living in the remote town of Greenbrier, was found dead under mysterious circumstances. Her husband, Erasmus Edward Shue, discovered her body at their home and claimed that she had died of natural causes. The local doctor, who was also the coroner, initially ruled her death as everlasting faint, later amending it to complications from childbirth. Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heaster, was immediately suspicious of her son-in-law, Edward Shue. She had never liked him and believed he was hiding something about her daughter's death. Mary Jane prayed fervently for a sign or an explanation. According to Mary Jane, her prayers were answered when Zona's ghost visited her over 4 consecutive nights. The spirit of Zona revealed to her mother that Edward had been abusive and had ultimately murdered her by breaking her neck. To prove this, the ghost turned its head completely around at the neck. Compelled by these ghostly visits, Mary Jane Heaster went to the local prosecutor insisting that Zona's body be exhumed and re-examined. Reluctantly, the authorities agreed, and an autopsy was performed. Astonishingly, the examination revealed that Zona's neck was indeed broken, and there were finger marks on her throat, suggesting strangulation. With this new evidence, Edward Shue was arrested and charged with murder. During the trial, Mary Jane Heaster testified about her ghostly encounters. Despite the unusual nature of her testimony, the jury found it compelling, and Edward Shue was convicted of his wife's murder and sentenced to life in prison. The story of the Greenbrier ghost is unique in American legal history, as it is one of the few cases where testimony involving a ghost helped secure a conviction. The tale remains a chilling reminder of the mysteries and legends that permeate the Appalachian Mountains.
Thank you everyone for watching this video. Like and subscribe, it will help this channel a lot.